basically, you know, ripping off clients or treating clients in a bad way, because that's going to create a negative impact on your brand. And I think what we're seeing today is some crazy offers going out there. I won't mention any brand names. I think we all know who they are. And they're offering things that they don't even make sense. They're completely arbitrary. So what happens is that it's potentially spoiling that IB channel, because now those IBs have been spoiled and they want that from, you know, the broker that they're with. So I think that's what we see a lot of our clients having issues with right now.
That's a very crucial point. Now, what is the best way to monitor the way your IBs handle the clients?
Well, it's difficult to say how we're going to monitor the client, because these markets are not only IB driven, but it's based on the relationship as well. Asia is all about relationship. The direct customer will not come in and put money with a company like TradeNext who they don't know. It's all about the IB who is creating a relationship, and they have their own small niche market, and they are selling the product to the end customer. So again, coming back to the question, it is a key. The relationship, education is a key, is a tool, and I think that's very important, because the more we throw education across in the country, in this region, the more people can come and trade with us directly. Because now it's a high time. I think people have now understood that, you know, the existence of the FX industry as such, and the online presence of a broker like us. You know, everybody familiar about the online FX trading. So people want to come forward, but they are scared somewhere because they don't know how to do it or how to trade. I think education plays a vital role. So I think a company like us, we are now, TradeNext as a whole, we have established a proper education company, London Institute of Education in India, and the sole purpose of this institute is to give education first. And the back of the education, we are then selling our product, rather than offering a crazy promotion to the client in the region.
If may I add something, Machin, you're right. You know, for example, what we're doing is we're doing education on videos. So we're using the television as well to do these branded educational videos in multiple languages. So sometimes a client doesn't want to read the manual or cannot attend to a seminar for any reason, and doesn't want even to call the guy and explaining how it works the platform. So we provide videos in different stages of different topics, so the client can actually see the video 5-10 minutes and then watch to the next video and the next video, and then he gets the educational side. So I think it's working properly, but we need to put it as well in mobile devices. Yeah. Because it's very important, coming to the point of the mobile. And also I think that the industry should realize, and the clients, not only in the Asia side, but everywhere, they need to have a reliable mobile application with all the functionality, or nearly all the functionality that the platform offers, not just to see and watch the market or to see where is my position, but actually to be able to trade. I mean, we believe, and we have made some studies, that in the next generation coming soon, people will not trade from desktops. People will trade from, maybe not from an iPhone or small, but maybe like a mini tablet, and that's going to be the next step. So we're thinking how to advertise there, how to put different applications for this type.
Now, I mean, we're still having a discussion in a more general level when saying Asian, okay? We're talking about strategies and we're saying Asia, but let's try and go a little bit closer, in a closer resolution, and think about the differences between some of the largest markets in Asia. Let's take India, China, Japan, Singapore, for example, okay? And if each of you can just say something that is, in his eyes, typical for that specific region. Just pick a region and say something that you think is typical for that region. Go ahead.
Okay, I speak first for China markets because we have broker who do a lot of business in China. And the first thing you need to focus is, do you have any idea generations that help the China customer? Because they are actually trading spot gold and silver. I think more than 60% of their volume is on this area. And whether you have the proper license is important. If you don't have the proper license, for example, a license in CGSEs, that is the China Gold and Silver Exchange, you won't able to get the money TT from the China market to the broker in the worldwide. Okay, when you got this kind of things well established, then whether you have the features that protect the client in the China market, because you know the market is 24 hours. If you don't got good policy or good features to then to protect their position, they cannot sleep. So that is nowadays we need to have some features for them to do this thing. I think the marketing guy will be smart enough to put all the things together to help the company to promote.
I
John,
think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
And
I
we'll
think
go
if
back.
we look, we kept talking, like you said, about Asia in general, and Asia is so different. The different markets very much differs from each other. And if we're talking about, like Ken said, in China, so in China we do see that the commodities are much more tradable than currency pairs. While in Japan we see how the currency pairs of the JPY against the USD is 80% of the volume or something like that. And so it's in terms of currency pairs, it's in terms of how you do marketing. So yes, people are, like Louis said, are looking for videos and looking for educational material. But in India, the personal relationship is super important and much more important than in other places. So you must have, in addition to the technology and the video and the marketing material online, you must have the personal relationship. While if you look in Japan, they don't have to have a personal relationship with the representative, but they are looking for the seminars. So if you'd go to FX companies in Japan, you'll see that in the lower floor or at the upper floor, they have these congregation centers or conference halls where they get all the people and all the traders, and they have lessons and courses that they're doing on a daily or weekly basis. And it's what I'm trying to say is that every market has its own needs and its own preferences, and you have to approach it specifically and to understand every market.
Yeah. John, from a marketing perspective, what differences do you see?
I think the differences we see, and I think it's important, is to localize. Some companies, they take a global approach to their marketing communications, and I think that's a challenge, because the way you communicate to the European audience is not necessarily going to work in Japan or India or China. So I think taking a localized approach is always going to be more successful. You can, of course, keep your core brand values and brand identity and all of that there, but you have to come up with unique messaging that will gain a reaction from those local markets.
And how do you do that within the Asian market?
You have to have local people on ground tell you. So you can't have a guy who studied marketing in Europe telling you how to do that in China. You need to have people on ground that can actually help expand. So if you have a company, you should have marketing people within that region. So if you're trying to grow in Asia without a Chinese person inside your company, or a company that you can outsource to that has people in China, it's not going to work. And we believe in it so much that we're opening up a branch in Shanghai. We know that local people on ground are going to do better work. We will obviously guide them creatively and through our team in our headquarters, but we know that we need local people on ground to actually deal with the issues that would occur to gain that reaction from that local marketplace.
Well, I agree with John absolutely, because I think people has to be on the ground, because Asia market is more, as I said, about relationship. They want to see person face to face with whom they are putting their money. Yeah? And I think it's also depending on the credibility of a company. So we as a company in India, for example, we know that these factors are very important in the region. So we started working around like establishing credibility within the region. So we launched our 3 movies in India. And I think that's the best messaging we wanted to relate to all the client in India, that look, we are a company, we're not only focusing on one particular product, but we have a diversified business. We want to create a credibility. And the people will tag along with you slowly and slowly. So this is what's going on at the moment. Personal relationship, educational, talking more to the client, giving them awareness about the product, about the market. This is going to help out.
Do you feel that being based in Asia creates a clear advantage when it comes to approaching other markets within Asia, for example, Japan?
Absolutely. I think India is a very rough market. If you are aware of the client base, I mean, you have to go through a lot of ups and downs while you're dealing with the client. If something is not working and you're not giving a proper services to the Indian client, I mean, you're on a hook, to be honest. So you learn those nitty-gritties on a daily basis, and then you refine your services. And when you go to a market like Japan, which is more mature, and there's more awareness about the product, it becomes much easier for you to tap the market then.
Actually, I have a question for Mujin. Are you doing feature films? This is
Yes.
like
We have recently,
Bollywood films?
yes, we have recently released 2 movies and 2 Bollywood movies.
What's the name of the movies?
And,
if I may
and
ask?
can I audition for the next one? Is it possible?
Yeah, definitely one.
Do you
We
need
were
a
doing some
TV?
audition and the director sitting in front of me.
Can I participate in one of the movies?
Do you need the TV?
Leave your cards after it.
Maybe one thing I can add as well, for example, from the marketing perspective, we have great ideas all over, but one thing that we realized that we made a mistake sometimes is we don't make it simple. So sometimes we make like a best web page with all the information, all the materials, all the context, everything, but you can't search it. You don't know where it is, the things. You just get lost. And this is the best example I was saying, that the greatest thing, without knowing how to do it sometimes, it's a waste of investment and a waste of money. You hire the best designer, you have the best thing, but then you say, okay, I want to check education or contact. Sometimes you don't even know where is the contact thing. So,
And where do you get the feedback from?
honestly, when I try it sometimes and I say, where is this? I give to people, and we in the bank give what we have to several different people to tell them, listen, what do you think? Can you search for this? And we make a lot of tests on this side and realize.
And John, when it comes to expenditures of companies to marketing, can you, specifically in Asia, of course, can you say something about the different prices or the way to...
Well, one interesting thing that we've seen, and I think it's still another reason to jump on mobile, is the prices, the CPM prices for mobile marketing are still low in Asia compared to places like London or North America.
How do you explain that?
I think obviously the volumes are higher. So obviously it makes sense, supply and demand. But I think that those prices are going to rise. So the earlier you jump on ship and lock on some long-term relationships with some mobile ad providers, I think the better it's going to be. But like I said, and to point off, to just add on to what Luis said, the functionality is very key. And getting feedback from your customers, your clients about how the website functions is also something that can really help generate more, client engagement and also acquisitions. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot more clients spend more in Asia. So obviously that's a testament to the growth there. But I think you can really buy a lot cheaper media now. So if you can lock in some long-term deals with companies that are around, it's going to be, easier to get in with them now than later. And as we're seeing things, I saw an article the other day, in 5 years from now, 67% of business is going to be coming out of Asia. So I think we all need to find a way to get there no matter what industry we're in.
I think I can add up on what John said. We have several of our clients who did not only trading on mobile, but also registration or lead collection through mobile. And then they get much lower CPAs because the acquisition costs on mobile are still lower. So it's very important at this direction to go and to utilize these opportunities.
Will it be safe to say that mobile, if you need to put your money on the next big thing in Asia, would it be right to say that mobile is that thing?
Yes, I think I can speak out of my experience. We have floated a mobile technology in India, which is called MobiCash. It's a mobile platform, and what we have done a tie with the banks out there, and this technology sits with the cash machine, and it sits on a mobile phone. It's a sort of a mobile wallet system. So we want to make people's life easier, and they want people to come in and do a lot of volume and transaction. So the way it works is, if I've got a MobiCash account and Shah's got a MobiCash account, we can transfer the money within the MobiCash itself. So you don't have to keep the wallet now. You don't have to keep the plastic card to move around the country. Simple as that. because people are not that banking savvy out there in the Asian market. If you have got a mobile, yes, the mobile penetration in India is 97%. Every person on the street has got a mobile. They have an access to it. So they want to make their life much easier. If everything is within the mobile, they want to take a cash out, for example, they can jump on a cash machine, touch their phone, put their PIN number, take the money out. That's it.
I think I read statistics somewhere that around 51 or 52% of mobile users worldwide or mobile subscribers are from Asia at this stage. So this region is really mobile savvy, and it's something that will go and be more and more popular in Asia probably as people will switch from traditional phones to smartphones, and then like Mujin said,
I think it is all about volume as well. If you look at the populations, India population is 1.3 billion, you know. So it's all about volume. Now there's so intense competition within the mobile industry itself that we have a domestic provider and then we have international providers as well. So the call is so cheap in India that everybody can afford the call. Now even they have started giving a plan where a husband can call a wife free from mobile to mobile.
but why would he?
Just to get an update.
To get more money.
Get more money, yeah.
Increase the count of
So we can transfer money. I mean, husband and wife can even transact from their mobile. Even.
Okay. Now, before we move to questions from the audience, I would like to ask, I would like to do a very, very coarse distinction between, let's say, mature markets and more emerging markets, and we're going to put the Asian market in it, although, of course, it has Japan and everything. But if we need to differentiate between the two and talk about trends that transpire or go from one region to the other and vice versa. Can you think of something like that? I'm going to give like one example that some of the CEOs that spoke in the panel yesterday said that they clearly see that regulation is becoming much tighter. I mean, it's moving towards that direction in the Asian market. So these kind of examples, can you think of such mutual changes? Ken, can you think of such a change?
Yeah, I think the financial market is changing a lot, especially on China's, because they want to open up their RMB for free trade. And there is a lot of momentum in these areas, such as the currency of CNH trading nowadays. So actually, they are not banning you to do this kind of business. If you can investigate something like CNH Polar, maybe you can get the business done because you fit the trend of China reformations for the FIFO of CNH. Okay.
Louis, can you think of such an example?
Yes. The only thing I can add here is, let's take a look. Which is the biggest center for the FX? As you say, Japan. Completely regulated, well established. You can have to do things very, very good. You cannot do it more or less or good enough. So if our biggest thing is this way, what is going to happen? I believe that eventually regulation will come all over Asia. And not even Asia, worldwide. I mean, the question here is how fast is going to come in Asia. I mean, now people or broker has an opportunity and a risk at the same time. So what we need to do is start thinking already on where do we want to be and start thinking on how we're going to regulate ourselves, or in case regulation comes, what's plan B, plan C, and plan D. That's what I need to add, because definitely people follow the leader.
Anything to add?
Well, I will say that in terms of regulation, I mean, there's really tight regulation out in Asia because, again, developed countries, or you can say the developing countries like India and China, never wants to lose their currency. And that's the reason they have a repatriation of fund. So they will never allow the funds to go out of the country. They want to retain the funds back just to strengthen the economy more. But I think regulation is going to play a very important role.
But can you think of a trend that moves from the Asian markets into the Western markets?
Well, I don't think so. I think it will take a lot of time for the trend to move. But looking at the current scenario, still, I mean, it will take a lot of time for Asia to come up with a regulation which moves from Asia to Europe.
Not only from
Yeah.
a
Well, the
regulation
Bitcoin
point.
is a sort of a trend that came from, well, Japan, don't really know, but maybe Japan, and moved to China and then to Europe. You can see trends that are starting, or forms of trading that are starting in Asia, and the more the market is developed, it will stop just getting Western products and adjust them to the Asian market, but there will be a mutual influence. And that makes sense. You see how the influence of Southeast Asia or the Asia Pacific region on the economy, not just on the online trading, is getting bigger and bigger. And so it's just natural that it will happen also on the online trading.
Okay. Now, does anyone from the audience have some questions? We will bring you a microphone. Hmm? If you can just introduce yourself.
Sure.
Sir.
Patrick Latchford, Mornings Capital Markets in London. You talked earlier about the strong influence of IBs in the Asian market. Given the proliferation of technology, access to global knowledge, education, where do you think the IBs are going to be in 5 years' time?
Who would like to
I'd
venture
just
the
jump
answer?
into that. I think the IBs in general are becoming stronger and stronger each day, and I think this strength is putting them in a position where they can ask for things that are not good on the broker side, and it's something that we're seeing a lot happening, which is creating problems within this channel. But if we can look 5 years from now, that as a channel is going to be very important for many businesses. So if you don't have a strong IB network, especially in Asia, I don't see you really expanding. But having said that, if that's your only channel, I don't think that you're going to, in the long run, be around, because you'll be controlled by one channel and one group of people.
Ken.
I think the IB look for, of course, first of all, we pay. And nowadays, the spread is become narrow and narrow. And then they will switch to something else, such that they will try to take a look of the execution qualities of the company. Whether you can provide the best execution quality, they will stay here. Otherwise, they will tell you, oh, okay, I would like to go to another company because they are higher rebate. And I think this is, you need to show to them the best overall solutions, such as liquidity, more fair scheme, and the best IT platform for them. Because if they are in China or they are in Indonesia, they don't have good connection to your server. It won't last long for the whole story. Okay.
Any more questions? Yes, just 1 minute.
A general question to the panel, actually. So in terms of marketing, right, particularly, what do you think helps? Trying to show that you are building expertise in a particular vertical, or as we heard, that you're like trying to grow across, saying having a MobiCash, having movies, going into trading, building your brand is important, or what does the customer sentiment look at it, or that you are building your expertise into a particular domain that helps customer build more confidence, or is it just creating the brand?
I think it all comes together. Yeah, you can't really distinguish between building your brand and just providing vertical tools for trading or expertise. It has to come together and actually influence each other. If you have good vertical tools to provide traders with information and or for experience or more experienced traders, this builds your brand. But you also need to build your brand in other ways, and there are so many ways to do that. Mujin just taught me of an interesting way that is very original to do that, but it has to come together, in my opinion. Maybe Mujin wants to add something.
I mean, both go in line with each other. Vertical is also important because this is the way you move in the market. But at the end of the day, don't forget that the clients who are trading with a UK-based brokerage firm are sending money across, for example, then they also need to see the credibility of a company. So we have to build our brand, so that means to build our credibility among the client base.
It all works hand in hand. And I think what's important is for you as a company to think of the why. You know, there's actually a very good presentation by Simon Sinek that actually talks about looking at your brand from the why, not talking about features and specifications. Everybody has the same thing. You know, everyone has MetaTrader, everyone's, you know, got a trading platform, right? More or less, it's the same thing. So you have to really think about the why people should use you as a brand. And I think, just as Shai said, everything you do that connects to your audience is empowering your brand. So you have to make sure that at any point, any touch point, that there's interaction with you and your brand, that it's consistent and it's giving off that message that you want.
I think that this statement would be a good point to stop the discussion. We're going to start another, first of all, I'm going to thank all of you panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I advise everybody to stick around for the last panel of the IFX Expo Asia. We're going to talk about regulation. As you could hear, these are very, very crucial issues. I'm sure you all know. So stick around. We're going to start just in a few minutes. Thank you very much.